Hi, I'm AJ Petitti. Well, container gardening is one of the best ways to enjoy your garden and patio, whether you're in big spaces or small spaces, and there's so many different ways to do it. So there's very simple ways. So these are containers that are pre-done. So you can either enjoy these in the container they're in, or you can just simply transplant these into a new container, just put a little soil around, and you've got an instant container garden done just like that, and they turn out beautifully. And then same thing with hanging baskets. You can take these out of the hanging baskets and just remove the hangers and then pop these right in, and they fill out beautifully also. They cascade down really nicely. But one of the cool things about it is you can mix up so many different things, you know, especially if you've got a lot of shade and there's, you know, limiting factors of what you could put in. You can use so many different perennials with your container gardens. So you can use hostas, you can use different brunera, different plants that add a lot of texture and a lot of color for very small spaces. And also in the sun, there's really long blooming perennials. Like this is a salvia Russian sage. This will bloom for a long period of time. And the great thing about using, whether it's roses or shrubs, grasses, different perennials in the garden, inside your containers, at the end of the season, you can actually take these out of the container, transplant it into your yard, and it just adds a lot of value. So it's a great way to just, you know, slowly really build up the plant material in your yard and, you know, like I said, add a lot of value. Now, vegetable gardening and herb gardening is another great way to enjoy containers. The thing that you want to make sure that you pay attention of is this little plant is all you need in this big pot. So you want to make sure that you've got about a 16-inch pot, 14 to 16-inch pot minimum for a vegetable, for a tomato, or even for your herbs. They get very large, and so packing it in is going to be detrimental. You really won't be successful with it. You just want to put one tomato, get a tomato cage over it, and really have that come over, and it'll turn out beautifully. And then another thing, there's actually tomatoes that are made specifically for containers. So this is an early girl bush tomato. It's something that you want to make sure that you pay attention to. You want to avoid indeterminate varieties where they'll get just very, very large. You want to make sure that you get something that's either a bush or a patio tomato. They'll perform way better in small spaces like this. And so when you're going to plant your container, this is just a brilliant invention. It's called an upsidaisy, and it basically creates a false bottom. So what you want to do is with your pot, whether you're using an upsidaisy or you're using stone or different things, you want to create a space at the bottom that's allowing for water flow and airflow, so the water doesn't get trapped down there. It creates a lot of bacteria, it just kind of gets yucky down there. So you want to make sure that you're creating, you know, either using the upsidaisy. The great thing about those is they last for years, so it's not a one and done thing. You can use it year over year. And then the next, this is probably the most important thing, is the kind of soil that you're using. So this is Petitti's planting mix, and you want to just fill up your container pretty much most of the way through. And what's special about this, and when you're doing any container, you want to make sure that you're using a soilless mix. So as you're going to use this, this is basically a peat moss, perlite, vermiculite, and bark mix, and something that's light and fluffy. You do not want to use soils or organics in your container gardens, because it just gets very heavy and very hard, and it's not going to perform well. So when you're going to look at your containers, you want to do something that's called a thriller, filler, and spiller. So the thriller is what you're putting in the middle. So this is just a nice, it's actually a hardy grass. It's a juncus. And I just think they look really cool. So we're going to put this guy in the middle. And then this is Angelonia. Proven Winners has come up with some great varieties of different annuals that you can use around. And notice I'm putting these in really tightly. So with vegetables, you need to leave a lot of space. With annuals, you can actually pack these in really tightly and they'll perform really well. So we're going to put the Angelonia just right around the grass, and the grass will actually continue to grow up, as will the Angelonia, and then go there. I'm going to use some nice sun patience for our fillers right now, and so we're doing like just a little pink and white theme, so some New Guineas, or some sun patience right around, so get these guys going right through, and notice how we're staggering and we're creating the container 360 degrees all the way around. And then these are some beautiful PWs, some super petunias that'll perform well, and these will be our spillers. So these will actually cascade off the side of the bottom of the pot, and they'll just kind of flow right down, and it'll turn out beautifully. And so when you're going to plant this, you'll see that you'll have gaps in between the plants. That you just, as we get through, we'll just fill that in with soil, and then we should be in really good shape. So we'll add this last guy in right over here, and then just take the soil that was left in the bag and basically just fill in whatever gaps were left within there. And so just kind of add a little bit of soil all the way around, pack down everything that wasn't, you know, if you've got spaces or gaps or if it's uneven, just kind of even everything out. And then that's really just about it. The final touches is you want to get just a little bit of Osmocote top dress this with Osmocote. It's a great slow release fertilizer. And then you want to add that about every 4 weeks or so. So in the container that'll leach out. And then really this is really all it takes to get a beautiful container for mom all set and done. Have a great day, guys.